Okay,
Start.
go. Okay. Good evening and welcome to this evening's meeting of the Woodbury County Zoning Commission. Today's date is July 28th, 2025, and it is 5 p.m. Tonight's meeting will be audio taped and minutes will be prepared. In respect to all parties, we ask those present turn off cell phones or set to vibrate. Those in attendance are asked to legibly complete the attendance sheet upon the front table. I would like to take a moment to review the procedures that the commission will follow tonight. First, the commission will handle the normal housekeeping agenda items, and for each application on the agenda, I will open the public hearing on the item. The planning and zoning staff will then present the staff report, including the staff recommendation. Any letters or other communication received from the public prior to the hearing will be entered into the record. The applicant will then have the opportunity to present his or her case and respond to the staff report. Next, we will hear comments from the public. If you would like to speak either in support of or against the application, you must come to the microphone. Please first state your name and address for the record. All interested parties shall be heard, but repetitious comments should be avoided. Repetitious or irrelevant comments may be ruled out of order by the chair. I ask that you remain respectful and courteous with your comments at all times. I don't think we have to mention the 3-minute limit here. We don't have anyone on the phone either. Okay, after all public comments have been heard, the staff and applicant may make a closing statement. The hearing shall then be closed by motion and vote. Thereafter, no further comments from the staff, public, or applicant may be heard unless asked for by the commission. The commission shall then deliberate the case and may ask questions of the applicant, the staff, or any party offering testimony. However, such questions do not reopen the hearing for additional comments from the public unless so requested or approved by the commission. The commission will then formulate and vote on a motion. The motion will typically either grant or deny the requested application. Any commission member who has an ex parte communication to place in the record of this meeting should do so prior to the beginning of the deliberation of the respective agenda item. With that being said, let the record reflect. Roll call. We have all commissioners here with the exception of Tom Bride. Do we have anyone here? Item number 3, public comment on matters not on the agenda. I'm seeing only 2 people here, and I think I know which they're both here for. Okay, so we're going to move on to item number 4, approval of the minutes from previous meeting. Do we have any?
I'll approve minutes.
Was that a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay. Motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Then aye. Okay. All opposed, same sign. Bless you, by the way. Number 5, item, review of conditional use permit application from Bruce Sorensen. Dan, do you want to read this information into the record, please?
Yes, this agenda item is for the purpose of making a recommendation over to the Board of Adjustment, who will have a public hearing next week to consider this conditional use permit application from Bruce and Rochelle Sorensen on their property to operate a borrow pit for earth materials to remove the hill and construct a driveway for access to the hilltop. This is referring to parcel number 894531200004. This particular borrow pit request had commenced but was put on pause as far as the zoning procedures and to go through the respective conditional use permit process. The information provided in the packet is helpful as far as this respective request. We do have a general site plan as far as a grading plan as far as how they look to have the hill or the site look after the grading has fully completed. We're still awaiting some other materials such as the DNR permitting, which they're working on. I've talked with Bruce, as well as a haul route and everything that we look for through the conditional use permit process. You might remember this particular district, the agricultural estates, was recently put into effect as an area for consideration under the conditional use permit process. The applicant has basically put into place and went through the application process to achieve this permit. So they've worked with the office and everything to work toward approval of the conditional use permit. I would say that at the Board of Adjustment time in the hearing, they have more information to turn in as far as the MPDES permits and everything of that nature. So at some point, I think it would be imperative that they would condition that those items get turned into the office that are required, as well as knowing your typical time frames and everything as far as when the project will ultimately be completed. So probably be good to have a cutoff date when you probably want your project ultimately completed at a certain time too. So ultimately clarification. Up to this point, the letters had went out and we haven't heard from the neighbors or anything of that nature. We'll find out more next week, of course, with the public hearing. Both dates are definitely referenced in the letters and everything, but considering the circumstances, I believe everything looks in order with the exception of the missing paperwork, which I know that they're working on and commencing through. So that's all I got.
Okay. Bruce, do you have anything that you want to add or make comments to anyone?
No, but I came in case somebody did have a question. We got approval from the county originally to put a driveway in, and that's why we got started on the project. And rather than just have a slice coming down a 30-foot embankment, we decided, the objective was to get the hill going. But there's more dirt there than I can use personally as a farmer, and the way the rules are written, I just can't have it hauled off without getting the conditional use permit. That's what we're here for. So
Okay. Thank
that's the
you.
only reason I came.
Thank you. Commissioners, any comments or questions? No? You have no comments or questions? It's pretty straightforward.
Very good.
Yeah, if I'd entertain a motion if we're to that point. Come on, be brave, gentlemen.
I would motion with all of the information or clarification that Dan mentioned needed to be added to.
Okay,
Okay, so your motion would entail that they need the haul route and and meet any state and local regulations.
Okay,
So,
yes, operation plan detailing haul route, hours of operation, clarification on when it would be completed, and then those plans. Do I have to list those?
yeah,
Stormwater pollution prevention plan and the county state regulations for the borrow pit and the permit from the DNR.
yeah.
Okay.
That fits. Typically what we look for is a SWIP plan, stormwater pollution prevention plan, and the MPDES permit for the drainage and everything. And of course, the haul route is a big part of it. Then a lot of times at the Board of Adjustment level, depending on what they hear from the public, they decide on timeframes or cutoff dates and things like that. So I imagine your motion kind of recommends that all the requirements as far as I would say state and local regulations.
So clarification on the missing paperwork for those
Yeah.
particular documents would be included in my motion.
okay.
Sure.
I just ask one question. Do you have the haul route established, or does it just need to be turned in and formalized? Has that been identified?
No, it hasn't. And Lieber's got to turn that in.
Okay.
So, and we've been working with Jacob Conley
Okay.
at Lieber Construction, as well as True Engineering in Mobile for the DNR permit. So.
We have a motion.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay. We have a condition use permit application recommendation to Board of Adjustment.
Okay.
Okay. Next item, thank you, Bruce. Next item on the agenda is a review of conditional use permit application from Kevin Heist. Do you want to read that information into the record,
Yeah.
please?
I'd like to read and explain this one because this is a unique situation. This was accomplished last month at the zoning commission level as far as a review of the conditional use permit for Kevin Heiss, Rent Properties LLC, to construct and operate an off-premise 14 by 48 LED billboard, double-sided on parcel number 884606100002. The zoning commission last month looked at this. It was quite intricate. We had neighbors attend both the zoning commission and the Board of Adjustment meeting. And what happened is the Board of Adjustment, of course, accepted your recommendation, and they held the public hearing, and the discussion kind of led into different locations based again on neighborhood input. And ultimately, what happened as a result, the Board of Adjustment tabled the matter to look at it for further scrutiny, and the applicant decided to initiate a variance application into the Board of Adjustment, which would run concurrently through with both the decision on the conditional use permit and the variance. So they kind of have to play off of one another. I know there was some discussion at this meeting last month as well about generally alternative locations, but I want to make it real clear, the zoning commission doesn't really comment or have directive as far as the variance opinion. That's solely the duty of the Board of Adjustment. But I felt that it was important as part of the due process and the idea of getting as much information out there as possible, just to return it back for informational purposes to the zoning commission and to see if you have any additional comments as far as the conditional use. This parcel is particularly large, as it kind of fits a lot of frontage there along Highway 20. And because of the big shift in potential locations, again, that this parcel is large enough, I felt that it was reasonable to bring it back to the zoning commission, just inform the public and just kind of get the word out that you originally saw it at that one alternative location. It does have that kind of stream in the middle. The applicant, we have some GIS data that shows us that their proposed locations are not in the floodway. They're away from the floodway. So that was my chief concern about the entire process, is to avoid the floodplain. And so their alternative locations appear to be reasonable, contingent on how the Board of Adjustment finds as far as the variance scenario. So the recommendation of last month is still in play, as far as the Board of Adjustment could ultimately approve the location that was shown before you last month, as well as ultimately, if they grant the variance, they could consider those alternative locations, which I'd like to call location number 2 and 3 that was on your documentation there. So ultimately, if the zoning commission chooses, if you have any more that you would like to say based on last month's recommendation, that the letter from the chair was in the packet and everything, as far as that recommendation forward, that's still in force. But it's just thought would bring it back for the good of the public and for the good of the board based on the size of the parcel. If it was on a different parcel, the process would have reset. But just looking at the magnitude and size of that parcel, I thought it was very appropriate to bring it back just for informational purposes. And I do see that we have someone on the phone as well. And of course, Slater representing the company is here as well. So,
Mr. Slater, do you want to comment on this again? No, no additional information or comments. Okay. How about the person that's on the phone?
Yeah, I would like to comment on it. I just appreciate Dana Neal. I live at 1774 162nd Street. I just want to thank you guys for considering this. The ideal option for the location of the residence here would be on the east side of the creek, which would be the variance number 3, would be ideal for us. That would be great. The other option number 2 would even be less considerable, and option 1 would be worst case scenario. We're not opposed to the sign going up, just we'd like it to be as far away from our homes as possible. And 3 seems to be the one that doesn't interact with the homes, my home and Mr. Boatman's that were here the last time. And there are no homes directly across the highway from there. It's only businesses and businesses near it. So that's all I have. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time. Okay. Commissioners, do you have any comments or questions?
I think just to be clear, if I could jump in, excuse me.
Go ahead.
because you had done a recommendation, I think it would be reasonable to maybe have some type of motion to say that you've had the matter before you, not specifically to the variance, but more so to the conditional use, that you held another meeting and either stand by your recommendation or something of that nature,
Okay,
just for the record,
okay,
would be reasonable. You're just acknowledging that you've already achieved that recommendation, something that this piggybacks off of that.
okay. Gentlemen?
I just make a comment that I would agree that the locations identified in the staff report as shown number 2 and number 3 are consistent with comments received from our last meeting from both the public and the owner and the commission as we made our recommendation. So I'm comfortable with restating our motion with the understanding that locations 2 and 3 are being considered.
That works good.
Okay. Motion,
I'll second that.
motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Okay. Thank you for bringing us up to date on the occurrences.
Okay, and just for the record, Board of Adjustment meets next Monday for both of the items that were here
Okay,
tonight. So Monday at
perfect.
5:00 PM in this very room.
Perfect. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your time. I appreciate it. Okay, the next item we have on our agenda is item number 6, which is public comment on matters not on the agenda. And I see no public present, which makes this an easy one. We'll just move on to staff update.
Okay, staff update would be that the Board of Supervisors will have the second public hearing on the nuclear energy issue tomorrow at 4:40 PM. It's a 4:30 meeting, but that's the set time. And we had a very interesting meeting last week. Different perspectives were of course brought up, which we hoped for. I was definitely hoping for more participation than what we had experienced the last 12 months. But it was a good meeting. Next week, we will have tomorrow's the second reading. And then, of course, the next week would be the third reading. The other one that we have is the accessory dwellings, the second dwelling on the property. I did attend a kind of an online meeting with some of the other zoning officials across the state. And I think that folks are still kind of scrambling to the idea that this new policy's put into place. So there's a lot of I think unintended consequences in general that we're going to have to look across the board. They had made references about future draft ordinances and things that could potentially be in play. But that bill or that legislation that was passed basically negated any restrictions that were put into place anyhow. So we have to operate under what the state code says there, but I'll keep you updated as I find out more and as we start to go through the different growing pains of adjusting to this policy. But it's got a lot of folks scratching their head on how to handle it.
We're gonna do it.
A lot of extent, but those are the big things there. Before we do close out, I do ask that I had this, and I should have brought it up in the previous agenda item. Jerry Steffen wrote a favorable opinion as far as the previous agenda item. I would ask if you'd be so kind to accept that into the record,
Okay.
into the minutes as something received, because it didn't make the packet.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I wouldn't be asking that.
Need a motion to
Yeah.
receive.
I'll make a motion to accept it into the packet.
Second,
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We have received it.
Sounds great. Thank you.
You're
And
very
that's all I
welcome.
got. at this
Thank you
point.
very much. Okay, item number 8, commissioner comment or inquiry. Everyone's quiet. That's I guess a good sign, usually. Okay, then item number 9 is adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn.
I'll second. I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
If I'm that right.
Wow,
Get up with your.
wow.